Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Exponentials. Today we have a special guest with us, Tr3y.eth, and he's the founder of the Creepz Alpha Group. And yeah, we're going to be excited to learn about his past backgrounds, how he came up with the ideas and concepts, the challenges he had to work with, and what the plans are for future, and some tools and tips and ideas for the viewers. So, Tr3y.eth, yeah, welcome. Thank you for
Hey, how's
coming.
it going, guys? Thanks for having
Yeah,
me on. It's a pleasure to speak with you. I know we've been in
yeah,
talks for a little bit. Yeah, it's nice to
yeah,
see your audience here as well. So happy to be here.
yeah. Nice one, nice one. Thanks. Yeah, yeah. So it's really good to meet fellow creeps as well. Like you really put together the creeps community. That's what I really like. That you kind of united the whole creeps movement to some extent. So, so yeah, maybe let's start at the top. Like, what kind of well, maybe let's start with the creeps concept. What got you into creeps to start with? Right in the
Well,
beginning. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So where we are now, it's easy to say in hindsight that it was obvious that they were going to do well. But as you
Yeah.
know, with
Sure.
any NFT project, it's really hard to see. It's really hard to
Uh-huh.
predict how any project will do. But there
Mm,
are some key factors that you could look at to really show
mm.
promise in a project. And when I found Creepz, I didn't actually mint. So I knew about it
Okay.
before mint, but
Yeah.
missed mint. Felt pretty stupid about that one. But I got in really
Mm.
early. I got two passes at around 0.24 and 0.35, I believe.
Okay.
And the reason I loved it is just the attention to detail was the main thing. I didn't know
Mm.
much about the founders at the time, but
Yeah.
the amount of projects that we see every single day that are just super bland, no
Yeah.
specifics in the roadmap. A
Yeah.
dime a dozen would be an understatement. Like there's probably,
Oh
who knows
yeah.
how many a day. But their attention to detail was very, very impressive.
Uh-huh.
Their idea was super unique, as was the art. There wasn't anything with the whole conspiracy theory aspect of it. The lizards look really cool. Just
Hmm.
every box was checked as far as looking at a project early. So I was excited to hop on. And the
Mm.
second I was engaged with Dom and Sharkbait, as well as the community, and saw how they engaged, it was pretty obvious that it was going to do well. And the ride
Okay.
is pretty crazy thus far.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Very interesting because I think I got in a bit later stage as well. Like I got in post reveal, so I wanted to get in at pre reveal, but I thought okay, the price would drop post reveal, so I'll get in.
Yeah. See,
Boy, was I
usually that's
wrong.
the case, right?
Yeah,
Usually,
yeah,
usually that's something you can bank on. For
yeah,
someone that looks at data and tries to, there's a few
yeah,
projects that hold long term, but it's a flipper's
yeah.
market as well. And I'm not flipping
Exactly.
creeps, but usually you could bank on floor price
Yeah.
dropping, not
Uh-huh.
doubling post reveal like creeps did.
Exactly. It's like, okay, hold on. It doesn't look right. Let me get in before it's too late. And then, yeah, yeah, that worked out pretty good. So okay, very interesting. And what kind of got you the idea of starting an alpha group for creeps? I mean, how did that concept start in your mind in the beginning?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I
Hmm.
like building communities as it is,
Hmm.
especially in a space like this where it's kind of the Wild West and
Hmm.
information as it is a very, if not the most valuable resource in this space, right? It's really hard to know who to trust. Um,
Hmm.
since I joined the space, there's countless scammers, there's countless people
Yeah.
that claim you could trust them, but then once you learn true
Yeah.
intentions, it's obviously not the case. So I've built a couple communities in this space in the past.
Ah,
They
okay.
were pretty successful, but it wasn't where my focus was at the time. So
Hmm.
the idea of building a community was always kind of fresh in my mind. And when I was looking at Creeps and how close knit the group was, it was kind of a no brainer to try to start something. At first, I got to tell
Mm.
you, it wasn't like I wasn't when I was making the Discord. It wasn't like I knew this was going to be the go-to alpha Discord for
Yeah.
Creeps. I just guess I was
Yeah.
one of the first people to have the idea, and at first it was
Uh-huh.
actually just like a group chat with a few people that were down to kind of talk and
Okay.
share information.
Yeah.
Then it kind of grew from there. Obviously, the next step was to make the server and kind of find people
Mm.
to put in places to that I could rely on to help me run it. because it is a good amount of work
Mm.
trying to keep up with information. So I met a couple
Mm-hmm.
people early. Dylan, who is now the co-founder, I met him pretty early, and a couple of our
Mm-hmm.
mods and overseers. They were some of the
Mm.
first people that hopped in and made it known that they would like to help run it. So
Okay.
put people in the right places, and they just kind of grew from there. I think just approaching
Yeah.
the community in the right way. Clearly, not
Yeah.
no monetary value in the server for me. That's not why I started it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I don't know how to monetize a community in the space. It's not that difficult to
Mm.
do so, but that's not what this was intended to be, and that's not what the
Mm-hmm.
vision is for the future either. It's was I think that's
Mm.
why honestly people kind of flock to it because they can see the time
Mm.
that everyone puts in is purely to share information and share opportunities with the community. And yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
why I think it's such a fun place to be.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So is it like the value you saw initially was more for bringing the Creeps community together? You found like, okay, there's a gap where people are not able to kind of share their
Oh
ideas and concepts, and that this would
yeah,
help fill that gap. Yeah.
it's not that it's a place where they can't, but if you've been in general after an announcement, it's kind of hard to
Oh
get
yeah, January is
authority
crazy.
to actually,
Yeah, you can't even
that's
type
why I
there.
love
It's
the Creeps.
like,
I mean,
yeah,
at the end of the day, man, that's why I love the
yeah,
Creeps. The energy is absolutely nuts.
yeah,
But I've been in
yeah.
other servers as well where they have a
Uh-huh.
really strong alpha portion of the
Mm-hmm.
Discord, and that's not a knock
Mm.
on Shark and Dom at all. They're in terms of hardworking founders, they're got to be come on at the
Oh yeah,
top of the list there. So
yeah,
obviously, I'm not saying they should have done this or that, but definitely as
yeah.
far as gap to be filled, there was definitely a
Uh-huh.
room for an alpha server, and
Yeah.
just given the attention we get from other projects coming up, like which is
Mm-hmm.
increasing exponentially as well. It's clearly the
Mm.
power of the Creeps themselves as holders for any project and the
Mm-hmm.
value they bring is very much seen by the community at large.
Mm.
And I think it
Mm-hmm.
was a no-brainer for us to like band together and use our value, which
Mm.
we built ourselves. We're people see value in
Mm-hmm.
Creeps and the holders because we've proven to be, people that could hold, mature, knowledgeable, and that could bring value to any project. So they did that themselves, and
Mm.
now the value is being seen by other projects who approach us for collabs and whitelist opportunities, etc.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really good. Yeah, I've seen some of the there's like some really good whitelisting and other projects you recommended on the alpha group that actually were really good projects. So I think you've got a good solid kind of alpha team together as well in here where you've got some good people sharing good knowledge in the team. So
Yeah,
that's actually
absolutely.
quite
Thank you.
nice. Yeah, yeah. So what about the DAO? Is that also part of the similar kind of concept? It kind of grew out from it, or how did that come
So
about?
I actually have nothing to do with that project. To be
Okay,
completely
okay,
upfront,
interesting.
I
Okay,
actually don't
okay.
know too much about how that's going. I mean, I wish them success, and I
I
see it
see, I see.
as
Okay.
yeah, I
Uh-huh.
see it as obviously another arm of Creeps holders trying to band together, and yeah. So I
Sure.
wish them all the best, but I have
Yeah.
nothing to do with the DAO
Okay,
personally.
okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. So what's the actual sort of challenges you had to solve to to build this community? Was there like any major things you had to deal with and to kind of that you can share with the
Yeah,
issues?
yeah, for sure. Off the top of my head, I guess scaling it, which I really
Mm-hmm.
had no like I could. There's no way I could have known like when more people would start hopping in. Now we're at I think over 1,000 members. Obviously, didn't start
Mm-hmm.
like that. So kind of at first it was mainly just me. So at first, even building the server, giving people the right roles, keeping it
Yeah.
organized, and then once we had a couple
Yeah.
people on the team, still I work a 9 to 5 as well. I'm in tech sales, so kind of
Mm-hmm.
trying to balance the amount of work the server is giving me as well as like my day to day life and my job was definitely
Mm-hmm.
challenge, and I'm sure other people in the space that are trying to build something could resonate with. So that's
Mm.
probably number one. And then we vet projects, right? And I take that pretty seriously. There's a lot that we haven't announced
Mm-hmm.
yet that's in the works. So
Okay.
very quickly, I'm not one to just accept any whitelist that comes my way because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we have a Me and the team have the responsibility to you guys that are in there.
Mm.
I'm not going to just
Yeah.
throw, excuse my language, just some random shit that like gets
Yeah.
presented to us. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
um, people are looking to us to guide them in the right direction. So that's a really big thing,
Exactly.
and we take the job pretty
Mm.
seriously. I don't just chat. I hop on calls with almost every project
Hmm.
that is presented to us. I think there's a lot you could
Okay.
learn from like asking tough
Mm.
questions as well. Like we'll ask the founders their complete plans. We'll pick apart kind of their roadmap in a way
Mm.
and really see if there's value. And you could hear a lot in someone's voice when they answer a question, whether they're sure of something or not. You know, so we
Mm.
that's a pretty big job too, scheduling those calls with founders and really asking those tough questions to ensure that we're actually bringing quality
Hmm.
over quantity to the whitelist in the server. Yeah.
So do you actually have like different people in the team focusing on different projects that comes along, or how do you kind of split the work between yourselves?
So as far as finding projects, I find some. Dylan is honestly a superstar in finding projects. Kid's an
Hmm.
absolute workhorse, so he's always out messaging
Okay.
teams.
Yeah.
We're getting approached, but also we're approaching projects too, and we're ramping that up as far as like projects the
Hmm.
community wants. And honestly, a lot of these, the
Mm.
community members themselves would reach out to me saying, "Hey, like I spoke to the founders here, and they're open to collaboration." So it's the community
Yeah.
themselves, too, honestly, man, looking like getting approached and approaching projects too.
Yeah.
So it is a group effort, truly.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, the Creeps community has some really thorough people. Like they're bringing in stuff that you wouldn't always notice, and then you realize, okay, hold on, this looks something really good,
Yeah,
or,
especially in this
or the other
space.
way as well. So,
Yeah,
sorry,
sorry to
go
cut
on.
you off there. Yeah,
No, no,
I
go
was
for
saying,
it. Yeah.
especially in this place, in this space where there's so
Mm.
many projects that there's quality ones that just kind of slip by our radar, on a regular basis. So it's
Mm.
impossible to catch everything good. So
There's
having
so
people
much
reach
going
out
on.
to, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So you mentioned you built communities before, and so what got you started in the whole crypto NFT space? Like, how did you start off initially, and then
yeah,
what were like your early experiences?
yeah. That's a cool question. So I
Yeah.
started about a year ago. I'd say it's almost been that long now.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
like
ages
most,
in crypto
yeah, yeah. In
space.
this
Yeah.
space, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
feels like it's been
Yeah. Yeah.
like I'm already going gray here with this shit. But
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah. So about a year ago,
Yeah.
actually I
Uh-huh.
DJ and produce music too. So I was at a festival with one of my best
Oh wow.
friends,
Okay.
and he had a bored ape, right? And at this point, like many people, I had no idea how
Yeah.
NFTs worked. I
Yeah. Okay.
was in
Yeah.
crypto for a little while prior to
Yeah.
this, but I was like, okay, this picture is
Yeah.
worth what $200,000 or something. I was like, all right,
A,
well,
a year ago,
tell
it
me
was what quite cheap,
about
isn't it?
NFTs. And we spent the next
Hmm.
2 hours walking around while he explained NFTs to me. And about a month later,
Okay.
I actually
Yeah.
entered the space, bought bought my first
Hmm.
NFT, and yeah, started from there.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. What was your first NFT?
So I think what was my first one? I had to track my wallet, but I bought one and then waited for a couple
Okay.
months, and then I bought Astroheads in November.
Oh yeah, you did
Not
Astros too.
not a great project.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
There's so
one
much
where
hype. I lost so much on
uh,
Astro Heads, to be honest. Yeah.
did you? Oh my god!
Yeah. Yeah. I went big and lost everything.
Let's not bash any projects here, but let me just put it
Yeah.
this way:
Yeah. It wasn't.
you
Yeah.
learn a lot from your losses.
You learn exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. I mean, that's the key. And I think that's what it is. What I found is that you have to give yourself the opportunity to have tested at least maybe 5 to 10 different projects
Oh yeah,
before you hit the gold mine, because the chances are the early projects you do are probably going to be not good.
yeah,
So you might not get the results you expect, but if you stick to it and if you kind of
hmm
set yourself up for it, you eventually get there. It's a matter of time, basically.
yeah. It's crazy
um,
how much there is to learn. Actually, I was kind of surprised
mm,
by it. In the beginning. I had no one to really show me what to
yeah.
do, when to do it. So I was really just
Yeah.
feet to the fire, and I guess it did cost money at the end of the day. I mean, I'm doing all
Yeah.
right now, But
Yeah.
through that you do learn a lot, and I was surprised how much there is to learn, how many factors you had to take in. Um, yeah,
Mm.
how many tools are
Yeah.
really helpful. And
Oh yeah.
you kind
Yeah.
of asked about communities I've built. In the beginning, it was kind of like,
Hmm.
okay, how do I help other people or like give them a
Mm.
place where they could learn some things? It was kind of educational as far as what I've been learning
Hmm.
so that one was
Okay.
also free. It was actually called Null Address. I built it with my friend Chandler. I guess some people that watch this might know about that.
Okay.
That
No address. Yeah. It's called. Okay.
yeah, it was. I like the name a
Nice.
lot because it's an open sea. When you mint something, it
Okay.
says from Null Address.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a full website, really cool team.
Nice.
Someone I worked
Okay.
with on that project. He's an advisor
Hmm.
for our alpha group, and he's someone that I'm going to be working with going
Mm.
forward with the company we're
Hmm.
about to start as well.
Oh, I see. Okay. Very interesting. So, is this your how many kind of groups did you build before? Like, which number is it on your list of
This
groups
would
you
be
work with?
my fourth.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, the
Nice.
thing
So
with
you've got
no,
the experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. At least with
Mm.
Discord, I'm still not like amazing at the technical aspects of it, but
Hmm.
by the time this one rolled around, like I knew I could make a community. Even that small.
Mm.
I know I could
Hmm.
make one. And then see if people want to hop in. So yeah,
And how do you kind of split divide your time? Like, do you find yourself it quite challenging in for times, or you kind of manage to set up your core team and
yeah.
it's not as challenging as you'd expect?
It
You're kind of
is.
there now. Yeah.
It's definitely a challenge, and I can't say it's gotten less challenging because there's just
Okay.
increasingly more
Some more
stuff on
stuff.
my plate.
Yeah.
Even right now,
Okay.
I didn't hop on Discord today till I messaged you at about 4:15, and
Okay.
I kind of took a break just yesterday. So one day I'm
Uh-huh.
like, it's Sunday, and I'm
Yeah.
already like, I have
You got
maybe
a
three
backlog
calls
now.
I got to get on later. Like I'm just looking at my
Yeah.
Discord right now, like so
Oh
many
yeah.
unread messages, and it honestly,
Nice.
I'd be lying if I said it doesn't become a lot of times. Having a
Yeah.
team really helps for the Alpha
Hmm.
Discord. Dylan, even him alone, the whole team helps a lot. But when I'm not there, I know Dylan could kind of make things run
Step in and
smoothly,
help.
make the
Yeah.
announcements and stuff. But
Okay.
the Alpha server isn't the only thing I'm working on in the space too. I'm really big
Hmm.
on building teams, and I think
Okay.
I'm finally got to the point where I've met enough people. It's never enough, but I'm like a serial
Hmm.
networker as it is. But met
Hmm.
enough people to have a very solid foundation to build a team that I'm very
Hmm.
confident in. And yeah,
Okay.
so finally, we're gonna start. We're gonna file for that LLC very soon and have a team to build
Hmm.
with aside from the server as well. Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. In fact, is there some stuff you could drop in regarding the future without giving too much away so,
Yeah, yeah.
of what
So
you
we,
have
we have
what
a
you've
lot of
planned? Yeah,
ideas.
yeah,
Some of the team members is who I worked with in the past. My
yeah.
friend Noah, who had that board ape. My friend
Mm-hmm.
Sonars, you can catch him in the server too. We brought him in as an
Mm-hmm.
advisor. That's the thing too. So the
Mm-hmm.
server is for creeps. To be a member, you had to hold a creep to be a member of the alpha server. But
Mm-hmm.
I see no problem in bringing in people that may not have a creep, but I know are very talented in the space and experienced that could bring us more opportunities. So I made the advisor role
Mm-hmm.
just for those individuals, and a lot of these people are people I'm working with on my team aside from the Alpha group.
I see.
Um, yeah, Wawa actually. Shout out Wawa. He's a head
Oh
mod
yeah,
and in the
yeah,
group server. He's an advisor in
yeah.
our Alpha group as well. Um,
Uh-huh.
and he's someone that yeah, I don't want to say anything he wouldn't want me to say on here, but he's someone that's very
Sure.
very connected and someone that you got to have mentors in the space, and
Oh yeah,
um,
yeah.
you, you can never for anyone watching this never discount how smart some people can be in the space. And while
Mm.
you might think you're analyzing others are always analyzing you if you're doing
Yeah.
something like building a
Yeah.
group or something. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm happy with the way I've conducted myself thus far because it's allowed me to gain enough respect from people that now I realize are mentors for me, if that makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. No, that's really cool. So, how about the financial side? Is it purely voluntary, the team, and What's your to like going forward? Would it continue to be that way, or how does it work?
For the server.
Yeah, for the server, and what you have planned. Is it going to continue to be like people will contribute based on whatever time they can put in?
Yeah, as of now, it's completely voluntarily for the Creep server at least. And
Hmm.
honestly, just the whitelist opportunities we're getting are, you know, people have made a good amount of money. So yeah, right now the team is not
Okay.
paid. If that's what you're asking,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
again, in the
Okay.
beginning it was just me, so it would be paying out of pocket. And honestly, I'd want people
Yeah.
working on the team that want to work on the team, not
Yeah.
simply for you know a
Mm.
monetary check. As far as my own team, that's also a very collaborative effort. Um, it's people that see the
Mm-hmm.
value in working together and see the goals we can accomplish, which will be monetary. There will be a big payout for that at least, and
Mm.
there's no ads out like join my team for this amount of money or anything like that.
People just
We are
volunteered and like,
we're very
yeah.
picky as it is. On
Okay.
both ends, and it's I
Uh-huh.
think building really slow is very important in this space. Again,
Mm.
knowing how to gain trust, knowing how to see what people are in it for the right reasons, and see value in working with us, and that's a lot
Mm-hmm.
aside from the core alpha group as well.
Mm. Interesting. Interesting. And what's your kind of plan with Creeps? Is it like this? You just continue to support the Creeps community as a whole, or you're looking to, like as you said, bring in other experts from other areas as well, and kind of expand the alpha into a wider scope alpha
So
group?
as of now, we're going to keep it as far as holders, keep it creeps oriented. Now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't like locking anything in as far as if we as a community decide that there's a project that we've
Mm.
had the pleasure of collaborating with, like heavily, and we know the
Mm-hmm.
founders, say we have the founders in there to talk to some of our guys, and we want a
Mm.
further collaboration, then we might do something as far as if you're also a member of this project you could also have access to our server.
Right.
Now that's not
Okay.
guaranteed. It's something I had to talk over. That's just something on my mind that I was thinking of to see how
Mm-hmm.
far see how far this goes. I have no as far as supporting creeps in general. Um, I like in any investment, invest in people is a principle that stays true in this space, and I'm
Yeah.
keeping my money on Shark and Dom, seeing how far they can
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty safe bet.
So how is your relationship with Shark and Dom and the Creeps team? Like, I mean, are you guys very close, and do you work quite closely together on things? Or
So I wouldn't say we're very close. Like I said, Wawa, me and Wawa are pretty close. He's a head mod. I have open
mm-hmm.
communication with Sharkbait. He's someone
Mm-hmm.
I've spoken to a few times. I've tried to get his
Sure.
collabs with other projects, My Pet Hooligan being one of them. Um,
Okay.
and Weed Gang, we did Weed Gang on our own with Alpha, but I connected Sharkbait
Yeah.
with their founder, Dan Sutton. Really cool
Okay.
dude. Shark actually kind of showed him some stuff on the contract side, how to, because they,
Mm-hmm.
Shark and Dom have some crazy mechanics, like they're devs at heart
Yeah.
too. So, and they've
Okay.
kind of executed them all to perfection, which kind of blows my mind. I'm not too technical, but I
Yeah.
just see how many founders try to do that and fail at some point along the way, and they really never have. So he kind of advised
Mm.
Dan Sutton on like how to do the 25% bribe, for example, on Lumi, just like small things.
Oh yeah.
I'm in contact
Uh-huh.
with them. I wouldn't say we're super close or anything, but it's definitely a relationship I look to look to build on.
Yeah. So okay. So you've got a good synergy between their team and what you got going. So that's quite
Yeah,
cool, actually. Yeah. Hmm. And do you see? I mean, what's your kind of vision on creeps in general, like going forward, from your kind of take on it? I'm not saying it's necessarily going to have to be true. It's just like, what do you feel about it, like in the next 3 months, 6 months, or a year, for say new people coming in? Is it a good thing to get into, and if, why is it, or what are the kind of reservations?
absolutely. I think it's definitely a great thing to get into. We'll
Hmm.
see what kind of value they continue to build for the Genesis creeps, and they did
Mm.
put out a lot of mints really soon, which is first off super impressive to do
Oh
that many
yeah.
successfully. Um,
Yeah.
can I say with certainty every single asset will continue to raise in floor price? I
Mm.
think that's kind of hard to do, but if anyone could do it,
Mm,
that's what it comes down to. It's like if anyone could do it, I haven't really met a team that
mm,
does it like they do. So I think it's definitely a great entry point still with these new interdimensional lizards coming out. Season 2 starting this week. Super exciting. They
yeah,
signed that deal. They kept saying brand, brand, brand. In the very beginning, I'm like, okay, this seems really cool. Are
yeah,
they going to flip the AYC? Like it's a kind of a wild thing to
yeah,
say, but hey man, at the end of the day, it's if anyone can do it, I have my money on Shark and Dom, and even if I wasn't already in
yeah,
Creepz, if I knew what I knew
yeah.
about them, I would I would
Uh-huh.
buy it. Especially with this bear
Mm,
market, I
yeah.
think even Genesis at the price they're at now is you can't really go wrong.
Mm. Speaking of market, what's your kind of take on the market? Like, how does the cycles work on NFT, and what should people be mindful of when they're getting in and out on different projects?
Absolutely. The market's really important. That's something in the beginning I didn't focus on as
Hmm.
much because I didn't really know to. Right now, we're
Hmm.
seeing some more bearish conditions, actually very similar
Mm.
to last November, where me and you bought Astro Heads
Oh yeah,
probably without knowing
yeah,
what the market conditions were like. But
yeah.
it is really important. It affects one of the biggest things it affects is liquidity, right? So
Mm.
when you're investing in crypto, you could sell whenever you want, right?
Hmm.
If I choose to sell my Ethereum, I could sell it when I want to sell it. That's not the
Mm.
case for NFTs, as you guys probably know. It's you could list
Yeah.
it, but someone has to buy your NFT for you to get liquidity. And in a bearish market like we're seeing now, liquidity is harder to come by. So what that means
Mm.
is for all your short-term holds, your flips, your something kind of just in to make money off of, which is completely fine. We're all here to make some money. You might not want to get into the projects you're iffy on during a bearish market because liquidity is harder to
Hmm.
come by and there's less people buying. There's less demand across the board.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that is a very pretty important metric to look at, and it should inform what projects you're buying, how long you're holding. If you don't
Mm.
want to hold something for the next month, you might want to list it during a bear market for some profit before you had to end up holding it for a month, because
Yeah.
it's hard to get longevity in the space. Creeps is one of the few
Uh-huh.
diamonds in the roughs that I really do think long term they'll be relevant. But even good projects, how long are they
Mm.
really relevant for? That's something that might change with time, but that's something to keep in mind. Basic
Yeah. So the
projects,
cycles are
couple
quite
months. Yeah.
unpredictable. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Okay. So let's say if I'm completely new to NFT and I'm just starting out, what would you give as an advice? Like, okay, I think you should start with X amount, and these are the kind of things you should look at doing. You
Yeah.
know.
I think knowledge is number one. I think having someone to kind of
Hmm.
guide you through would be great, but I know a lot of people don't have that luxury
Mm.
in real life that they could
Hmm.
trust. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of influencers, so to speak, that I don't fully trust, but there are a few that are very
Hmm.
trustworthy, or at least get to my radar. I could trust. I'd say
Hmm.
Henry Chen is one I could shout out on here. I would definitely look
Okay.
at Sajad also. I'd say
Oh
those
yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Honestly, those two are the ones I actually would trust, and almost everyone else so far is they say some things that make sense, but you can't really
Yeah.
be sure in space, and I wouldn't
Uh-huh.
shout out anyone else but those two at this current moment. I say watch those
Okay. Okay.
videos. Watch
Yeah.
videos that where it's not just buy this, it's why buy at what point. Things that touch on
Mm.
themes. Henry Chen has a lot of graphs. Actually, he has a really great video
Okay.
on floor price. It's actually in our Creepz server in the
Hmm.
educational content aspect of it.
Oh, okay.
So
Hmm.
I'd say educate yourself first. Kind of know before you buy, before you like me buy 10 Astro Heads. Kind of
Yeah.
educate yourself on like how floor price works, how liquidity works, how to spot a
Mm.
good project versus a bad project, and then slowly get yourselves into a good project if you can. It's easier said than done, but being in a good project
Mm.
and seeing how their Discord actually runs gives you a
Hmm.
very crucial data point to compare all the other shitty projects out there, and then you could kind of
Okay.
know what to look
So,
for in a good project.
so you're saying almost like, I guess, don't jump in a rush. Kind of spend your time to learn about it, analyze it, get your own opinion on it, go into the discords, go into the communities, understand the people, listen to a few potential good influencers, and then kind of there's no rush. It's like if you miss the boat today, it's not the end of the world. It's
Yeah,
more important you understand it,
absolutely,
better.
absolutely.
Yeah,
The boat seems to be going at a trillion miles per hour, and FOMO is a
yeah,
very real thing. But I assure
yeah,
you, yes, trends change, but the
yeah.
sooner you educate yourself, the better decisions you'll make. And something to focus on is it, you will lose money at some points, but the more information you have, the less risk you're taking. Any investment is a risk, especially in this space, but more
Hmm.
information equals less risk and better returns at the end of the day. So definitely spend time
Hmm.
educating yourself.
Hmm. Okay, okay. And in fact, speaking of investments, so if as a general kind of, again, this whole interview is not investment advice, guys. So this is just us talking about stuff. So don't take any of it. This is all education and entertainment
Never
purposes only.
financial advice.
So
So
no financial advice whatsoever. But I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, if somebody was to invest in different types of products, how does where does NFT fit um, in the kind of risk factor and kind of investment strategies? Where should someone place NFTs? And it'll be quite
I would
a good place to put in.
I would place it at the very top of my list. It's definitely the
Okay,
riskiest asset. Crypto itself is pretty risky,
risky
but
enough.
I'd say NFTs are definitely in a league of their own. I made
Yeah.
the mistake myself in the beginning of thinking, I actually made. You heard of Spooky Boys Country Club? That was one of my first
Oh yeah.
flicks. Well, I
Okay.
actually took one pre-reveal at the beginning too. I was like, oh shit, I made $1,000 in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like everything must be this easy. Like yeah, not the case. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say definitely very, very
Yeah.
risky, which is why what I said about educating yourself is paramount for sure.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Look
You're
into the
spot on.
projects. Some things to look at. Just
Hmm.
founders and the actual research.
Hmm.
Doc's team nowadays, especially, very, very crucial. Look at their
Hmm.
LinkedIn. Look at success they've had prior. Did they do anything prior?
Hmm.
Like a really bullish sign is if you look at the founders and they've built businesses in the past in this space or outside of this space that have been successful. That
Okay.
shows you that they
Yeah.
know how to run a team. They know how to pick people. It's a lot you learn from your own experience.
Hmm.
So experienced founders is a really good one. Art,
Hmm.
believe it or not, art, who would have thought, is pretty crucial. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, people want your product, and if your art is shit, it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to for your project to do that
Yeah.
well. And people hear utility.
Yeah.
You avoid projects that roadmaps just use buzzwords, right? We all hear certain
Hmm.
buzzwords, metaverse,
Mm.
community fund. Like, what does that really mean? Everyone's going to say metaverse. Community fund
Yeah.
sounds cool, but at the end of the day, oh, are you giving back to your holders? Congrats. Do you want a cookie? That's not that important, So look at like specific
Yeah.
utility that they're giving back
Hmm.
and something that shows effort. Even something like website, if a website's thought out,
Mm.
if they're putting effort into the roadmap and website and contract, if it's play to earn, like cool mechanics, um,
Hmm.
it shows you that they're going to probably put effort and actually do what they can to make the project successful. Now,
Mm.
that's still you can do all that and still not be successful. That's the thing. So looking at those
Mm.
factors are kind of a baseline. You want at least those things to kind of hedge
Hmm.
your bet on a project.
Okay. 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 So look at the founders. Look at the kind of roadmap they're setting up and how they're managing the team, how they're putting the team together, and the actual project outline. Understanding those. Uh, that research needs to go in
Yeah,
before you start jumping in on projects, and even then there is a chance that
yeah,
it might not necessarily be right. So it is
yeah.
pretty high on the risk scale.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
uh, but okay, okay. So I guess, so what about capital? So if somebody needs to start off on NFTs, knowing it's a very high risk product to get into, or market to get into, what should be a typical budget minimum to get started, um, for someone, you think?
Minimum, I mean, rule of thumb is don't invest anything you're not willing to lose, but you guys have heard that, a
Sure.
million
Yeah.
times. I'd say minimum
Yeah.
budget, maybe 500, buy one or
Hmm.
two. I'd say if you like a project, if you've done the research, it's always nice to get two of an NFT. And that way you could sell
Hmm.
one into the initial pump or pump pre-reveal, and you could hold one to see where it goes. Again, it's all about hedging your
Mm.
bets to not end up losing a lot of money. So if you buy two of
Mm.
something, you could always sell one when something's high and still, have one to see where the founders take the project. So I think that's a cool
Hmm.
rule of thumb to start off on. And I think $500 to $600 um,
Hmm.
is a solid amount to start with. I'd also look out for
Mm.
any project that has a very high mint price is kind of a red flag, especially if the founders don't have
Mm.
experience in the past. So stay for your first project, stay away from anything above
Hmm.
0.09. Like if it once it hits point 0.1 and over, I'd think about it before investing. Like a lot of really
Okay.
good projects, even
Interesting.
Bored Ape Yacht Club. I'm pretty sure that was a 0.065 mint. Um,
Mm.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like it's
Yeah.
0.065, 0.05, 0.04, all like great. So you could have some good ones that
Yeah.
are a little more than that, but don't just get something when it's like a very high mid price. It's not a great sign.
Mm. Interesting. Okay. Okay. And I guess how important is like getting into alpha groups and getting into that mix? Is that something that should be thought of right in the beginning, or just kind of navigate your way and then look at things?
So alpha groups are very helpful, the right ones.
Hmm.
It all comes back to information and people that have
Sure.
extensive networks in the space and knowledge themselves, do provide a
Mm.
lot of value. But
Yeah.
does that mean go spend an Ethereum to get an alpha pass right away? I don't think that's necessary. There are some
Hmm.
resources that, are free even that could get you a lot of value. So I'd say definitely
Hmm.
find groups of people, even people, it doesn't have to be a necessarily like a Discord or a
Mm.
server. Just
Yeah.
always network in the space. If you find someone you think you could trust, it's always good to get a second opinion on things. People that are
Mm.
experienced, reach out to them. You'd be surprised how many people actually respond if you're being
Yeah.
genuine. So kind of
Mm.
build your resources that way in terms of personal people. Find influencers you could trust, not just anyone. Again, I'd stick to
Yeah.
the two I endorsed earlier, and whoever you
Yeah.
might come across. But yeah, eventually get into an alpha group.
Awesome.
I think that can be a
Yeah.
cool. Once you made some money and you have some money to spend, alpha group could be a good investment as well.
Hmm. Yeah. So it's very interesting. So I guess, yeah. So find yourself the yeah. So find yourself the right kind of knowledge first. Keep a small budget to start with, and then that way you're kind of risking a smaller amount. And then obviously also keep in mind, even if it's a very successful project, it will have its ups and downs. So literally on NFT, no project is off the chart. Like everything can have all kinds of things happen to them. So you
Yeah,
always have to kind of, yeah, keep your
and
alerts
and they will.
high.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And everything
Yeah.
will have like ups and downs, like you said.
Yeah.
Trends happen very quickly in the space, and floor price goes up very quickly and down very quickly in the space.
Yeah.
So never be scared
Mm.
to take profits too. That's another thing I'll drop is there's
Hmm.
very few projects. No project will go up forever. And when you look at a project's
Mm.
Discord, you have to keep in mind that it's that project's Discord, right? So everyone in that Discord
Mm.
is an investor in that
Rooting
project and
for
they
it.
want to see things going well. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
you're in the project's commercial. Now, should you get
Yeah.
all investment advice from the commercial of this company that you're investing in? Probably not. You should probably look outside also for kind
Oh
of
yeah.
tips on how you should act. Um, so yeah, be
Mm.
scared of giving into emotion. Emotions run high in the space, and if you go in any Discord, all you hear is diamond hands, hold forever. That's obviously
Yeah.
not
To the
a
moon.
sound
Yeah.
investment strategy. So
Yeah.
I'd say get multiple data points from various sources.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I think, we've touched on some really interesting points that people will find very interesting to kind of take notes from. So yeah, thank you for all that. So yeah, it's been a good 30-40 minutes we've spent uh, on strategies, your roadmaps and plans, and how you're running your projects and Discord groups. So thank you for that. Is there any closing notes you'd like to mention before we close off?
Nothing specific. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it was nice
Yeah,
talking. For anyone
likewise.
watching this that
Yeah.
wants to like maybe join a team, feel free to message me on
Hmm.
Discord or any way you can get a hold of me. Always looking to meet more people. And yeah, man, it was nice
Awesome.
talking. Thank you.
Yeah, nice one. All right, have a good one, mate.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Cheers.
Talk to you soon. Bye.